control of your own capacity to produce life. If somebody else controls your capacity to produce life, you have no future. And so African people had come to that conclusion in the 1960s. We'd gone through the bombings and the beatings and the prayings and all of that, and said that we have to have power over our lives. And the government initiated a form of assassinations and murder and isolation of people who tried to make that happen. Malcolm did not commit suicide. Martin Luther King did not die a natural death. Members of the Black Panther Party were executed in streets throughout this country. And I was in and out of prison, and the co-founder of the African People's Socialist Party was himself murdered down in Fort Myers, Florida. So this is what we've gone through. And then you had this whole movement in the 60s, demanding power, demanding control of our own lives. And after they did all of this assassinations, then they said, now you can vote. After they destroyed the revolutionary organizations that provided the program that you would vote for, then they said you can vote. After they killed the people who were providing the leaderships that telling us how and to move and vote, then they say, now you can vote. After they destroyed the program calling for black power, calling for black community control of the police, when we had organizers on the ground demanding that they kill it, destroy that, now they say you can vote. What you got to vote for? Only thing you got is the Democratic Party. The same Democratic Party that was bombing our churches and killed those 4 little girls in Birmingham will now say you can join us. After they've destroyed your capacity to speak for yourself, any kind of program that you might have that speak to black people, black power, is now not something you're supposed to say. You can't say black people. You can't say black power. You can't say, I'm fighting for the liberation of African people, because somehow that makes you against, what do they call it, diversity? Or some other kind of nonsense that they've thrown into the mix. And so for a long time, African people couldn't participate in the electoral process and didn't want to. The Democratic Party then embraced the African community, but that sector of the community they soon corrupted. They corrupted your preachers. Now, to be the preachers that supposed to represent the Jesus who was turning over the money tables in the temple are now on the front line trying to get as much money as they can from the government. If they want this program from the government, that program from the government, so they support this candidate, that candidate, and won't do what's right for the people. Even preachers who come up to us and tell us, I know, I love what you're saying, I love your program, I love what you're trying to say for the people, but they don't support it. Because that's not smart. You have these so-called activists, these liberals and black activists, who say they're for the people, say they call themselves community organizers. But they end up in every instance doing what they call the smart thing. And the smart thing is for them is to support the status quo. I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying. I don't like the way you say it. Right? Or I like what you're saying, but that can't work. That can't win. What has happened is the electoral process is a very narrow, very small group of forces who are at work, even from our communities. The electoral process was not established to bring us freedom or to bring us any kind of victories. And so many of our folk don't participate in the elections. There are more than 1 million Africans who can't participate because they're in prison. There are hundreds of thousands more who can't participate because they've got records, and even when they act like they're going to make it possible, then they put up all kinds of hurdles to make sure you can't vote anywhere. This is what we're up against. And so we just had this incredible campaign that brought this magnificent victory, and we fought them on their own turf. They set the rules and said, this is how you're going to, they made sure that they did everything they could to keep the people from being able to participate. People don't even know a damn election is happening. They preach to you all the time about how democracy means voting. They say the Russians somehow is the responsible for Donald Trump being elected because they manipulated the situation. Well, hell, not Russians. The Times here did it. The Democratic and Republican parties do it. The so-called Democratic Socialists of America, they do it. They don't want the masses of African people to participate in the voting on all of us. Let's do it. There was no Putin. They're right downtown on 5th Street and 1st Avenue, right here in the city of St. Petersburg. They don't want the people to participate. They don't want any kind of ideas, any kind of that might resonate among masses of people to be able to reach the people so that people can participate. The world is not going to go out and just vote for any clown just because you can vote. And then they come and tell you, your people fought and died to vote. No, my people fought for freedom and thought that nobody died to vote. We people died because we wanted to be free and we would do anything necessary to be free, and because white power and this government kill you when you try to be free. Then they set this avenue up for you and say, you can be free if you join the Democratic Party. Now, we'll let you do that. If you accept the Democratic Party program, we'll let you do that. So, but what has happened today is that we have revolutionary forces on the ground. This is the city, and you must be clear about this. This is a magnificent victory, but it didn't fall out of the sky. It's SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, that marched down these streets right here in St. Petersburg and tore that filthy mural off the wall 50-some odd years ago. This has never been a city where the African community just laid down and died because white power laid down and died. Uncle Tom's would do that. The preachers did that. We had to demonstrate against the church on December 24, 1969. 4 days before I tore that mural down at a demonstration against the biggest black church in the city because they were working with white power, opposed to us being able to make them move that damn mural down and to provide resources for this community that we've been fighting for since then. This is the city where Jomo was born. And everybody with any kind of memory remembers Jomo. In fact, you will run into people who would tell you today about Jomo. I heard something on the radio, Black Power 96, talking about, I knew Joe Mala because he did this and because this was Jomo. This was a city that has raised the consciousness and built a real social movement here. This is the city where the African People's Solidarity Committee was born. It was born right here in this city. So there is a long trajectory, long history of resistance and struggle in this city. And that's why on today, we are celebrating this magnificent victory. And it is a victory because we went into their church on their terms and kicked their asses. And they did everything they could to isolate and keep the people out of the process. That's why we say we're not just talking about an election, we're talking about building a social movement. A social movement, and we created a platform of this to have that social movement happen. Because as long as you simply fight them within the context of the electoral process, you can't win. If that's the only way, they got it rigged. It's a rigged game. It's rigged against the masses. It's rigged against the people. It's set up to protect the system from the people. That's what it's for. So we got to go beyond the electoral process. And they've opened the door for that with this victory. We've opened the door. We have magnificent candidates, an extraordinary campaign organization. It was something to behold, and people watch this all around the country and around the world. They talk about this in South Africa. You know that, Comrade Akile. Akile knows it because she's a member of the Central Committee of the African People's Socialist Party. And she's in touch with people who are part of our organization around the world. They're talking about this everywhere. We are engaged in a struggle in St. Louis. People are fighting against gentrification, the same kind of nasty stuff that they're doing to us here. Even as they push our people out of the communities and then suck the resources and suck the blood and suck the life out of this community and build incredible institutions and structures all over downtown White and throughout Central Avenue at our expense. They're doing the same thing everywhere. That's why so much attention is paid. Now that's why in 1 week we raised $13,000 when people saw Akile making this battle, because it was their battle in St. Louis, it was their battle in Texas, it was their battle throughout throughout this country. They knew it was their battle.
Yes.
They know that if we win this one, we win in so many other places, because it is assumed that we can't win because we're going up against the system, against the establishment when we make this struggle. And the establishment doesn't respect us at all.
Come on.
They don't think we can do it.
Right.
And so now, that's why the issue of a social movement is so important. We have to go beyond the limitations of electoral politics. We have to win masses of people. We have to make them shut up. I was at the poll this morning, and when we came to the poll, comrades who were wearing Akile shirts came up, and they were videoing me and talking as we were entering the polling place. And this Negro person who was supposed to be a poll watcher or something, the moment we show up, then he comes in and whispers something to other polling officials, and they come out and confront. They come out and confront the forces who are out there with their T-shirts on. And then say something about, when they asked them what they were talking about, they go talk to your white people. How in the hell can a Negro working for Craftsman tell us to go talk to our white people? It's your white people you're responsible for everything that's happened to our community. But building a social movement will make him shut up at the thought of doing anything to us. It's got to be bigger than the electoral process. It's got to mobilize every starving, every hungry, every oppressed, every black person in this. We kick the damn door down. Yeah, kick the damn door down. We're coming in. So up against the wall, mother. This is stick up. So we have to bring the people into this process. And we're taking it to the white community too. Everybody's going to have to deal with this question now. And guess what? I'm saying this in part because some people must be saying, how the hell can they be celebrating so much? They came in a distant second in District 7 and lost in District 5 altogether. We ain't lost nothing. Come on. We ain't lost nothing. We're not even supposed to be here. We're not even supposed to be here. But now they're opening the door and they're going for every damn thing. Needs to be here, and every white person who wants to get on the right side of history must be given an opportunity to do it, and they can't have that opportunity unless you draw the line and say, you've got to step over here. Some people are going to come up to us and say that when you say, make the South Side black again, that somehow you playing racial politics. No, you're playing racial politics. And the system is playing racial politics. Anytime you say that I can't say that black people have to stop the starvation and oppression of black people, you're playing racial politics. So we're taking it to them. We've been involved in this part of the election. It's what we might call conventional warfare. We did it on their terms. And then now we're going into guerrilla free. Where everywhere they look, they're going to run into Akile. No matter what community is in, it's going to be an Akile there. And that's how this movement has to go. Social movement. So nobody would dare say something like, go talk to your white people. I'm Negro going to say, go talk to your white people. And the insults that we had to suffer through these Negro preachers and other sellout, lick-spittle politicians, we'll never do it again. We're going for every damn thing, and we're taking the covers off, and we would say, we know who you are, we've seen what you've done, and you've worked against this community. We're going now against the system. It's not District 7. It's the whole damn system. It's not one seat, it's the whole Yeah. We are winning. We are winning. So, somebody's going to say how we said that the people endorsed Akile. Because it's true.
Yeah.
Because to get to Akile, you had to go through that morass of BS that the system has created. You had to break out of the encirclement that we've suffered up to now. From the Democratic Party, Republican Party, from the electoral process, from we fought against the gentrifiers, we fought against the big developers, we fought against the Times, we fought against all of those forces. We treated our own ability to go directly to the masses of the people because we knew that they were fighting against us everywhere. And this time, we'll do it even more effectively. I want to say this, and I get out of your way, because this was an extraordinary campaign. Nobody had a campaign like this.
No.
And the science that we brought to this process. And when you sit down and they say, here's how we're going to do it. But that kept us locked, though. We were successful in doing that, but that locked us to the electoral process, didn't it? And the moment you say that, our target is the super voters, this voter, you locked into the electoral process. We have to do those things, but we have to build a movement that goes beyond that. That's the kind of thing that has to happen. Go for the damn super voters. Go for all of those other forces. That's the science that we brought to this process that's so important that we did better, and we're getting better and better at running these kinds of campaigns. Now we have to learn and understand how to build the social movement we're talking about to mobilize people to win freedom. And then if you win your freedom, the elections will come. The struggle to win freedom is what should determine how an election looks. The experience that people have in the process of winning their freedom is what should make them get up in the morning and go and vote. They can't tell us that there's a low turnout, because the masses will be enthusiastic about getting out no matter what the circumstances are, because they know this is the road to freedom.
That's right.